It's only got about this far. Oh, yeah. There you go. Oh, this is like a gold mine cat. Do, 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 do. Oh, that's a lot of minced garlic. I can smell it. It smells so good. Well,
And
better
chickadee check check.
because it's going to be diluted when you add the. Oh, I know. I'm just. I'm, yeah. Why are you defending yourself, man? Hey, Matt, do you need us to do a check?
What?
You need us to do a check?
I just need both you guys on camera. I think I'm good on your levels.
Okay. How much chicken is there? Is there a lot? Well, we got 2 bowls. I still have half a chicken left. That's funny. You want to just tear some chicken off, feed the dog and the cat? Okay, man. I need the broth. Right now. What's broth? Chicken broth.
My co-host and intern are fighting over chicken.
Start with that.
This is audio gold right here.
You guys know what y'all did with the ranch? Yes, it is.
Say this.
I saw it.
Hello out there in YouTube land.
The following audio.
Oops. Oh, that's a hell of a audio bounce back.
Back to 20, 15, back to 20, 15, 16.
Let me do that again.
The following audio program contains mature content, including offensive.
The same level you normally do. Okay, let's see. Valentine's Day.
In the gear. Gear. I was the emperor. Why am I even here? Why am I such a queer? Why? Oh, man. I can't even. That was just the best. I'm going to say that next time. What? Because why am I such a queer?
Don't change the lyrics.
Alright, Alex, I need chicken broth, scrape the bottom bits, season with this. Yes, sir. Don't leave yet.
in so we can. I need
Just be a little while longer.
season. I need bay leaves. Bay leaves.
Where's what?
Bay leaves.
They're in a container with like the seasoning. They come in containers like that.
When did you order them last month? Oh, when did you order them last?
What?
When did you order them last?
I don't know. It's been a little while. I mean, we don't use them very often.
Fascinating.
Looking weird so far. It should be like a bunch of what looks like yards of leaves. Make it out here. If I can't find it, it's not finding it. Just with the rest of the possible.
Let's close on.
Really good. I really want to be a good thing. Not 100% sure.
Wait.
Two things of chicken in there.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know.
I didn't tell you.
Why are you trying to push blame off on yourself when I didn't do it right?
To do it. How to do it. I didn't know how to do it.
Because I should just know better.
There you are. At least.
That'll be here in just a second.
Okay. We're already live on YouTube. It's just waiting on YouTube.
Sick. How's your day been, Matt?
It's been okay. Very cold.
Oh yeah.
Shelly's actually not going to be part of our occurrence tonight. She's not feeling well at all.
Ah, dang.
What's wrong with her?
She feels feverish and kind of queasy. Her headache. She took a bath about an hour and a half ago, but it didn't really help much.
Got the COVID.
No.
Not really. Not really.
No, she doesn't. Nothing's wrong with her nose or sinuses or anything like that.
Oh, I got hair problems. I'm ready when you are. Let's get this going.
I can't see Alex. Oh.
Is it there?
Okay. Yeah, just make sure you both are on camera. All right, there we go. All right, let me switch back to the live chat on the Mac Mini.
Overtuners Insignificant Podcast. Ba-dum, bum. Bluetooth.
All right. All right. Tonight's probably going to be a bit of a short one. Let's see. Yeah, because Shelly's not here for any conspiracies, and I really don't have.
I don't have much either, being honest.
Yeah.
It's been kind of a buzzy week. I saw a picture of you and Dustin and
Matt Stubbs, yeah. Yeah, I was at his house last night. I'll get into that whenever we start here. Okay, here we giz. 5, 4, 3, 2, erect penis.
The following audio program contains mature content, including offensive language. Listener discretion is advised.
Play the radio. Make sure the kids hear words.
You're talking to the guy that remembers everything.
Remember that time we butt fucked?
I don't feel okay with that. I really don't.
Robotator's a loser.
You know, I'm not even saying anything anymore.
Why?
Or maybe it's just that I'm hogged up on caffeine. And
Because y'all get on to me for even saying anything. I'm done.
No,
I'm done.
I
I'm
didn't.
done.
You're supposed to fight back. Look.
I feel like you have a boner right now. I don't.
The land of Fujiwa is a shitocracy.
First and foremost, I am not fucking RoboTuner.
Robo, fuck you.
That would be so tender.
Oh my Number God. One.
That's the play for a stripper, to just go, oh yeah, I listen to all of them all the time.
Why did the stripper turn to Matt
So
Thomas?
where's the stripper from?
Thomas, is that you, man?
I thought it was genius, RoboTuner. You did a fantastic job.
It is. I thought that I just wanted some money so I could buy some pop screen filters.
You dress up well, Thomas, man. I didn't know you were into this.
You little LARPer, you.
Someone shoot me. I have to live with him.
Hold it. I need to press record on my track. That was close. All right, here we go. All these podcasts in my feed, but something's wrong. Not a single one I follow, they sing their own theme song. Now I have my own, and I really must say, please offer us advertisement so we can do this for pay. Do this for pay. Back in 2015, just a desktop and 2 mics. We found it hard on social media to get any likes. Then we got new equipment and the world was much more fun. 3 years had gone by, now our studio is done. RoboTuner, master of debacle, sitting at the helm.
Sushi keeping Matt in check, true ruler of this realm.
Thunder K shocking both their asses into gear.
Alex the intern. Why am I even here?
We're glad that you have joined for this occurrence of our show. We can't think of lyrics for this part, so here we go. The song is almost over, starting at last. Broadcasting from the dungeon at Castle Fujiwa's RoboTuner's Insignificant Podcast. Occurrence 122 for Sunday, February the 14th, in the year of the animal that is also a synonym for hugs and kisses. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's... Oh, you get it? Because its letters are X and O. Yeah.
I didn't get it at first, and I was like, oh, wait. I get it.
Yeah, which is also fitting considering what today is. But before we touch on that, greetings, RoboTuner, coming at you from the dungeon at Castle Fujiwa. Back again with that low-budget podcast style for your listening enjoyment, amusement, disgust, or all of the above. Take your pick. Unfortunately, not joining us today is my existing romantic life partner, Sushi. She is not feeling well and is laying down. Oh, yeah, that's right. The sound effects. That's, again, every time you guys remote, that's the one I forget to queue up. So, But I was not comparing my girlfriend to an ox, if that's what you were thinking.
No, I said boo, but.
Oh, okay. I thought you said "Ooh," like.
I was just going to let you dig your own grave. That was
Oh.
Okay, Billy Madison.
I was gonna keep rolling with it. She's not here to defend herself unless she pops into the YouTube chat. Anyway, so yeah, she's not feeling well. About 2 hours ago, she was complaining of. She was feeling kind of feverish. Her stomach was hurting. Well, not hurting, but her stomach was squeezing, and she had a headache. But also, as I introduce every week, we also have the 50-pound bag of salt that you pour on your driveway, Thunder K.
So in this case, you're helpful.
Extremely. And then, of course, we have...
Bag of shit and the white shirt next to him anymore.
I have never called you that.
Not in that many words. No.
Jesus, man. You give me way too much credit. And then, of course, we also have his son, Alex the intern. All right, and that's how you get.
I like it, but it's like every time we do this, it's like a new track every time.
Yeah, because I keep forgetting to like or save the particular music.
Next thing you know, it's gonna be the Moonlight
videos.
Sonata.
I need to put that software on your Mac so you can use the soundboard that I have.
Oh yeah, just use hotkeys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about that. But no, I would never play something as low tempo and in a minor key for your introduction. That just doesn't suit you.
What are you trying to say? I'm too happy of a person?
Well, no, I mean, but how would you like it if I chose some other song like the one I did of autotune of Susie from Fort Worth Famous where she's singing Choke Your Chicken? Because remember, I used that as her intro music whenever she was our guest.
That is true. But you know what? It would be an honor.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even make auto-tune songs of our stuff. It's just really time-consuming. I just haven't had the chance to do any. In fact, it's been almost a year and a half since my last one that I did. What? No, wait, that's not true. A year ago, I did another one for Fort Worth Famous, for Susie's show, of her and her daughter Ivy. There's a lot of junk. Yeah. Anyway, so what's going on today? Snow, lots of it. In fact, we're forecasted to get anywhere between 3 and 6 inches, and I don't know about you guys at your house, but over here I have around 3 to 4 inches already. Whenever I stepped out here to the dungeon, that's what I had to step through.
Oh yeah, because you had to make the trek.
Yeah, you had to make the trek to the.
How was your whole 15 feet you had to make?
No, it's more like 20, but it wasn't bad. Ice is a totally different subject, though, which I'm hoping the snow doesn't turn into ice, because then I'd be scared to walk outside. Very bust my ass. I did see something yesterday I've seen before that was circulated on Facebook. And the picture says how to properly walk on ice and not bust your ass. And it actually compared a step to that of which a penguin does. Because whenever a penguin walks, they step straight down. They don't angle their leg at a 45-degree forward and then take a step. Have
you ever seen those guys? They're always slipping and falling.
Who, penguins?
Yeah, penguins. There's millions of videos of them just falling on their ass.
Oh.
Maybe you shouldn't walk like a penguin.
Well, it was just an observation, really. More than anything.
I would not walk like a penguin on ice. I don't think that's. I don't know.
I think they fall because they shift their weight too much.
Well, their legs are so close together. They have a really, really bad center of gravity. From what I've heard, you're supposed to walk with your legs spread, so it'll increase your center of gravity or lower your center of gravity.
I haven't heard that. That's interesting. And then the first time in my recent memory, the entire state of Texas is actually on a winter storm warning.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's ever happened before. Usually, whenever storms come through, they just affect one part of the state, but not the other. But not what we're experiencing right now. So I'm not too worried about the snow, and I don't have any need to drive anywhere either. It's ice that scares me, and it always has. Yeah. Now, if this turns into ice, it's going to be bad.
Well, you know it is, because the cars have been driving on the road, melting all that fluffy snow, and the water from that melted snow is just going to harden into ice. It's 11 degrees outside right now.
Yeah. Last I saw, the low tomorrow is still going to be 1 degree. I don't think I've ever seen temperatures in Texas that low ever in my whole life.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Although I did melt a bit of snow earlier because I had to take a piss before we started the show, and I didn't want to walk all the way back inside.
Did you write your name?
No, I didn't have enough to.
Robo Tuner was here, bitch.
I'd have to drink 64 gallons, shit. Like a whole gallon of water in order to write that, maybe 2. I don't think my bladder has that kind of capacity.
Just piss into a mustard bottle and just squirt it on the ground.
Man, your name is 4 letters. It's not that hard.
Oh, I thought you were saying what? Well, your dad, Thunder Case, said, Robo-Tuner was here, bitch. That's why I'm saying I would have to drink a gallon of more to write that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, and another thing that's concerning me about this weather is that this ERCOT, who is the official Office of Energy for the state of Texas, is actually telling people to conserve as much power as they can for the next 2 days through Tuesday night. And in fact, they're telling people, and of course, a lot of it's common sense already, such as don't turn on any necessary lights, don't leave them on, don't run any high energy appliances like your washing machine or electric ovens, and they're recommending everyone to set their thermostats to 68 degrees.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. I mean,
I don't see that happening either.
Well,
I know most women could not be in 68 degrees
unless it's that time in the month, or they're going through menopause.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I know that people, the women I know, besides my wife, she's good, but the women I know, like my mom and my grandmother, they like to keep the thermostat to the right of 100. You know, like Satan's bathroom.
Oh.
Setting.
Yeah, not me. I have mine on 75 right now, and mine actually hasn't been running consistently today either. It turns on maybe once every hour or 2.
Yeah, well, Shelly's usually running the stove quite a bit, which doesn't require electricity. But
no, because ours is gas, and
the house pretty good.
Our heater's gas too, our main one, and then the one in here in the dungeon's electric.
Gas heaters, man, they are way better than electric.
Yeah, they are. I hated having an electric one. Remember Ice Mageddon that happened in December 2013?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was before we moved in here to the castle, and we were still shared residential compound, Fujiwa and Euless. That was the highest electric bill I've ever received in my life, $680. Yeah, it was awful. I had to split it up over the period of 3 months just to pay it down, or to pay it. Yeah.
It's gonna be just as bad. You got all these COVID people out of work.
Yeah,
it's gonna be real bad.
Yeah, I know it. So, do you guys have any interesting stories about the cold or snow that you'd like to share, since we're on the subject?
Wow. I just know that I've learned how to walk on ice because I've fallen a lot. One time, we used to get in trouble with my mom when we would go outside when she was at work. And one time it snowed, and it doesn't snow very often in Texas. And so I had to take the opportunity to go out and play in the snow when mom wasn't there. And, you know, I was immediately punished when I walked out of the door, set one foot on the back porch, and my feet were over my head. I landed on the concrete, banged my head, got back up, went back in, and pretended like none of that ever happened.
Oh shit.
I think one time mom and dad were at work, and it was like me, my brother, and my sister. We all went out because it was a snow day and it was high. So we walked around the block. We have this old folks home right down the street from us. And so we walked all the way down to the old folks home. And right over there they had this little mound where you can just kind of like, we walked up this mound and we kind of slid down a couple times. Well, at one point my brother, he fell backwards and landed on the street.
Ow.
Oh yeah. And
Shit.
he was sitting there for a second because he was in pain. But little did he know there was this truck just coming towards him. So we basically, me and my sister had to pull him out of the street and like on back to the grass so this truck could get by. That was.
And then y'all made a pact to not tell mom or something, right? Because this is the first I'm hearing of this story.
Oh yeah. That's Yeah, I mean it happened like too many years ago for me to remember.
Yeah. Yeah, were you still a little kid whenever that happened, Alex?
Yeah, I think I was at least maybe 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so used to it snowing, and then the next day to going above, freezing and melting all the snow into slush, and then freezing again that night. This is the first week I ever remember it being, so many days in a row below freezing.
Oh yeah.
It's been freezing since last week, right?
As far as the temperatures, yeah, and we're not. Our temperatures aren't supposed to be above freezing until Friday.
Yeah. Which that's very unusual to go an entire week with it being below freezing.
I know it's not very common at all here in Texas. That's for sure. Well, it's and whenever I asked about if you have any interesting snow stories, like have you guys ever like made yellow snowballs or like brown snowballs or dumb shit like that?
What you get in Texas is brown snowballs. You pull it off the car and there's like dirt and oil mixed in it, and you just throw it at each other.
No,
Pick up a dirt ball, throw it at somebody's head. There's a rock in it.
I was talking about taking a shit in the snow and chunking it at somebody. Or
I
doesn't even have to be yours. It could be a dog's.
Nope. Nope.
I've done yellow. I've done yellow, not done brown.
Jeez.
I wouldn't even touch yellow snow, let alone piss in it and throw it at somebody.
Yeah, even with gloves on, right?
Even with gloves on.
Yeah. Well, let's see. The first I remember the first year that I was driving when I was 16. My first class of the day was media technology, which was at a separate campus from my high school, and it started snowing during the class, and then I was on my way to my high school for the rest of my classes. That was the first time I remember. The first time that I actually peeled out and lost control of my car. My car did a total 180 in the middle of an intersection as I was trying to turn. Luckily, there weren't any cars around me, so nothing else happened.
You remember that year that it snowed on Christmas in Texas? It was like...
Yeah, that was 2000... Yeah, I think that was 2009.
Yeah. We were leaving my dad's house, and I had all the kids in this, and we were driving home, and we got to the bridge, and we were freaked out about going over the bridge. And when we did... the bridge kind of goes up a little bit and then down on the other side.
Yeah.
It's not exactly flat. When we went to stop at the red light, we went through it. I mean, we slid, and there was cars sliding our way. That's the only reason why I really don't like... I like snow. I don't like ice. Ice is scary.
Yeah, it is.
Like that 100-car pileup that happened the other day.
Yeah, that was on, what, Monday or Tuesday?
Monday or Tuesday, yeah.
It was Tuesday.
Or was it Wednesday? Yeah, that's right, because I actually had to watch my kid and her brother because my ex and her husband were out of town. And as part of that, I was also checking on their dog twice a day. And that's right. And the first morning that I had to check on them was Wednesday. And I remember the roads being slick then because there was a little bit of sleet, but the temperatures were still below freezing. And that was the same day. Yeah, it was Wednesday, because that was the same day that I hit a minor patch too, but I was able to control my car. But yeah, of 120 vehicles, 6 deaths, around 50 or so hospitalized, and another 50 or so that were treated and released. And it happened in the express lane on 35 going south.
Yeah.
I don't know what time of morning it was. I know it was before 8, though, because it was still dark outside with the video that I saw. Though the one clip that I saw showed a lot of cars already part of the pileup, but then the one that really freaked me out was the FedEx truck that just barreled into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know the circumstances behind it, because FedEx hasn't released a statement, and neither has the media or the city of Fort Worth or
I know
TxDOT.
that the Department of Transit, or whoever takes care of that express lane,
Yeah, TxDOT
decided not to de-ice that road. And I know that there were, I can't read that right now. I know that there were people who were dead who had to stay in that wreck overnight because they couldn't get to them, and they were more worried about transporting the wounded to a hospital.
Right.
And so I don't know. I mean, I don't know who. I think it's the Department of Transportation. Don't quote me on that, but they made a decision not to de-ice that road for some reason.
Do you know if it was the entire interstate or just the express lanes?
I believe it was just the express lanes, and if that's the case, they should have just closed them down.
Yeah. Because in weather conditions like these, people are going to drive slow anyway.
Right.
Nobody really needs to be in that much of a hurry unless you're an emergency vehicle personnel.
I kind of wonder if they were like, we don't have to worry about the express lane because people don't, the traffic's on its way down because people are trying to save money. So we'll just de-ice the main road. But when traffic starts building up, the first decision people make is to take a faster route.
Yeah.
So obviously we're going to go on the express lane.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't de-ice it.
Makes you wonder, that's for sure. Yeah. I don't think we'll be hearing about another incident like that, at least here in Texas, anytime soon. I feel like they've learned their lesson.
You remember that bridge that collapsed up there in the Northwest? Because it was just so outdated, it just collapsed and killed a bunch of people.
No, where was this?
That was several years ago. I don't remember what year. Hold on.
I've heard of bridges collapsing in cities where earthquakes are prominent, like San Francisco, or mudslides. I haven't heard about anything else like that. Not recently, at least.
Let's say it was back in 2016 or something like that.
Okay.
But this rivals it in the amount of deaths.
Oh, so there were at least 6 people that died in it too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
because when the bridge collapsed, a lot of the cars went, nose first into the ground. Some of them survived it, and some of them didn't.
Yeah. Well, I have a snow story as well. When I was a kid, we made frequent trips to North Carolina to see my mom's side of the family. My grandparents and 2 of my 3 aunts lived out there. And one year it was 93. I remember that specifically. We drove every year. We never flew. We usually went from Texas through Arkansas, Tennessee, then South Carolina, North Carolina. That was a typical route that we took, both there and coming back. We usually didn't go through Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and then make our way north. So I think we only did that once or twice, actually. Anyway, one of my favorite parts of the trips to North Carolina, both going there and coming back, were passing through the Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, which is beautiful scenery. That one year, it was December, we got stuck in the mountains, and there was probably a good 6 inches of snow on the ground at least. And what had happened is that a semi lost control and skid off the road into one of those snow embankments that I guess their Department of Transportation does, where they make snow bumps to help stop any large vehicles like that if they skid out of control, or maybe for any cars in general. I don't know. But that's what had happened, and it took us an additional 3 hours to get to our hotel last night. I mean, not last night, but that night when it happened.
God dang.
Yeah. I would just hate to be stuck in that situation.
That's awful.
Yeah, let's see here. One thing I wanted to touch on is that yesterday I felt the need to blow off a little bit of steam. I did have kind of a stressful week, honestly, because I had to, obviously I had to work like most of us, but my daughter and her brother, which is her half-brother from my ex's current husband, I was watching them from Tuesday night until Saturday morning. And, because my ex and her husband went out of town. So, so I was working, and then, my daughter, she's 14. She's going to be 15 this year, so she's pretty low maintenance. But her brother is kind of a handful. I'm not going to lie. He's nice. He's a nice kid, and he's well behaved. He's just very busy. And, whenever they got picked up on Saturday morning, I just had to blow off a little bit of steam. So I was invited to go over to my good friend Dustin's house from the Jerry Jonestown Massacre. And Matt Stubbs was over there too, because as I've mentioned in the past, I've been recruited to play bass tracks for their new musical project, Stink Flamingo. And what I'm about to play started off as a rough concept with just instrumental tracks. Though I want to say, after our efforts yesterday, it's all but near completion. And I'm going to play this here. It's a short song. It's barely a minute long, if that. So here you go.
I swear right now on my blood, this creation's yours. Clock's at midnight.
Gouge my eyes right now, cause I don't wanna see your fate in the move a fucking left.
Wait, what? What happened? It just stopped. Oh, son of a bitch. Are you kidding me? What? All right, let me try this again. Hold on.
I swear right now on my blood, this creation's yours. Clock's at midnight.
Gouge my eyes right now, cause I don't wanna see your fate in the move a fucking leprosy. Sounds like what you did was a big mistake. Fatal flaw, there's too much to mitigate. We can see you reaching out. We can see you breathing out. Remember when you choked us out. Remember why we hanged you out.
And there you go. The first track from Stink Flamingo. That one's called Fatal Flaw. It's pretty insane. The instruments that you hear are really guitar, bass, vocals, and what you heard as drums is actually a MIDI sequencing. That's not they're not live drum tracks that are recorded yet by the band's drummer yet. That's probably going to come last, actually. So,
Is that Matt Stubbs singing?
Yeah, that's Matt Stubbs singing. Yeah, he was actually and that's actually how I know him, is because I was in a band with him called Steadfast from 2001 through 2003, and he was the lead vocalist and rhythm guitarist.
Wow. Have you ever been in a band with Dustin before?
No, because Dustin's a bassist, and now in this band he's doing keyboards and sampling and that sort of thing. So that's really the only way that we can actually coexist in a band. Yeah, because it's not common for bands to have more than one bassist. Just like it's not common for bands to have more than one drummer. Just one of those things. Yeah, so I look forward to finalizing some of the other songs. That one was pretty chaotic and crazy, to say the least. But
sounds like it. It sounds like it's gonna be a pretty good album.
Yeah, there are a total of 5 tracks that are really just loose ideas, like that song that I just played, Fatal Flaw, was one of them. And then there are 5 or 6 other tracks that are just drum sequences that are basically an open slate for myself or the other 2 members to write any riffs that they want to, or that we want to. So,
awesome.
Yeah, thanks. All right, so in video games, I really haven't played much over the last week. Now today I decided to get back into Trials of Mana some. And this is actually, I don't know if I talked about this on the show before. I want to say about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. And what it is that it's for the PlayStation 4. It is a modern graphical remake. Yeah, it's a modern day remake of a Super NES, or actually Super Famicom game that was only released in Japan in '95. And what it is that it's actually the sequel to The Secret of Mana, which was released in the U.S. in the early '90s for the Super NES, and it was a pretty big hit. Yeah, The Secret of Mana was a pretty big hit, and it had a lot of critical acclaim, and it was one of those cult classics that I don't want to say that it has as much clout as, say, Final Fantasy VII did, but it came close. Just in a different way. It was more of like it's more of an action RPG instead of a true RPG. Anyway, but Trials of Mana 3 Trials of Mana, aka Seiken Densetsu 3, is the 3rd game in the series. And what's cool is that there's 6 characters you can choose from. You can choose 1 as your primary and then 2 companions. And during combat, you can actually switch between any of the 3. And what's really unique about this game is that the story, the story combinations are pretty wide depending on who you choose, because depending on who you choose as your main character, there's the main story plot, and then whoever you choose as your side characters, their conflicts that they're going through also have also play a part in the storyline. So it's pretty interesting, to say the least. And the combat's not too hard at all. It's just fast attack and strong attack, and of course you have a good mix of items in there that can either restore your life, your magic points, give you temporary stat increases, that sort of thing. Leveling up system's pretty easy too. Yeah, so for the kind of game it is, even in the more difficult battle parts, it's not like overly frustrating. So it's so far I like it a lot. It's a joy to play so far. It's almost kind of like a slice of life in a way, because even in the more intense parts of the story, it still feels fairly upbeat. It's almost like playing a Disney movie in a way. That's what I compare it to.
Well, I beat Secret of Mana. It was probably one of the first RPGs on Super Nintendo that I ever beat.
Really?
That was a really fun game.
Yeah, and
it was 2-player, so that made it a little, you could play by yourself, or anybody could just pick up the second player and start playing with you.
yes, I do remember that.
And that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, that's one thing that Trials of Mana misses out on, is that it's one single player only. There's no multiplayer on it, which is kind of a bummer, but it's all right. Yeah, and some of the other things that transferred over from the Secret of Mana is also in Trials of Mana. A lot of the common enemies are there, like the little blobs that look like rabbits, and the cannon that you jump in to transport you from one end of the world to the other. That's in Trials of Mana too.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and
I really like the storyline on that. And did Trials of Mana continue on from that storyline, or is it like 10,000 years later? Like,
I don't know if there's actually any parallels between the story of Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana, or if it's in the same time period. It doesn't really say. I mean, the game stands on its own, aside from the fact that
Secret of Mana leave off on like a sort of like a, there's going to be a sequel because the storyline wasn't finished, or I think one of the main characters sacrificed themselves, but then at the end it kind of looked like they didn't.
I don't know. I don't remember.
It's been years since I beat the game, but I kind of remember something like that.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me too.
And then the second one never came out, so I didn't know how Trials of Mana actually worked.
Yeah. Well, in actuality, Secret of Mana is actually the second game in the true second game in the series. The first game was Seiken Densetsu in Japan for Game Boy, and was released here as the Final Fantasy Legend.
Really?
Yeah. They just rebranded it and reskinned the enemies for the.
Is the storyline been altered as well, or?
I heard it was actually.
That sucks.
Yeah. Anyway,
Japan gets all the good games.
I know it. Well, Square seems to have had that habit with a lot of their games in the 90s, which is why people are so chronologically confused about the U.S. releases of Final Fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah, like 1 is 3 and 2 is 5 or something like that.
Okay, yeah. So the first one was released in both U.S. and Japan. And the second game was only released. Yeah, the second, third, and fifth games were only released in Japan. The fourth game was the first one for the NES, which was released over in the US as 2, and then the sixth game was released in the US as 3. And then once 7 came out, they just said, fuck it, we're going to name it 7 in all regions.
Yeah. But what's funny is you could actually go back to the second, third, fifth, whichever ones were Japan only, and you can get those ROMs with fan-made translations.
Oh, yeah. I did that years ago when I was in college.
And you could actually go through the entire quest, and not that it makes a hill of beans, because it's not like it's linear. It's a linear storyline.
Right. They're all their own separate stories.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a continuation of their stories instead of 1,000 years later.
Yeah, and just having and the only reoccurring characters that I see in the Final Fantasy series is Sid. Yeah, because he appeared in 4, 7, and 15, I think. Actually, I think he was also in 10. Oh, hell, I don't know. It's been too long. Anyway, so for the Secret of so for the Mana series, there have been a couple of other games that have come out over the years. There was I can't remember the name. There was also an entry for the PlayStation 1 system. My brother actually had a copy. I didn't really care for it that much, but it's worth some money now. So I don't think he has it anymore. It's not Legend of Mana. Or maybe it is Legend of Mana. I'd have to look it up. Anyway, I'm going down too far of a rabbit hole here. Yeah, but for the kind of game it is, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And I'll probably play it a little bit more tonight before I get up and go to work tomorrow. And in other games, so I know that you and Alex and Sushi have gotten back into Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh yeah, yeah. Really, at that game, never-ending storylines. It's great. I mean, normal MMOs, you go in and you're basically a messenger or go kill 5 enemies, go do this. ESO has that aspect because I just can't imagine a game without it. But there's also like puzzles and things that make you think. Like you have to, when you'll have to put a robot together and have, you have to figure out this puzzle, this riddle to get the right, gear to spark ratio for it. And the combat is like Dark Soul. It's little like honest to goodness Skyrim for an MMO. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I played it. I plugged in my PS4 controller, and I could do everything in combat that had been better with the controller than I did with the keyboard.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that seems to be
your
my go-to.
dodge roll is so much easier with the joystick than it is with the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, that seems to be my go-to for PC games. Also, is the controller. I never really was a fan of playing with the mouse and keyboard, except for Doom, because at the time our joysticks didn't really work that well, and plus 3D first person anything was brand new, so it was the only way I could really play it was on the keyboard alone.
The keyboard and mouse is only good for things like trade skilling and any interaction with a seller is so much easier with the keyboard and mouse because they limit what it is. It's really kind of neat when you plug in your controller. It switches the user interface to more like a console version of it.
Oh, nice.
And so it plays just like a PS4 game would play. But it also will instantaneously detect if you switch to your mouse and keyboard. So the UI switches back to normal PC UI. You don't have to switch any settings in it at all. So if I put down my controller and pick up my mouse, and boom, I'm ready to do anything I want to do with the keyboard and mouse, which I found to be quite refreshing because I didn't have to go into settings and say, okay, I'm not using my keyboard, I'm using my controller, and vice versa.
Yeah, that is pretty nice that you don't have to keep reconfiguring your controller options or your control options. Yeah.
And when I first got the game was really clunky. It's made by Bethesda, so
right.
But the game has gotten so refined and polished. Everything is voice acted. Everything. It's amazing. I mean, I have not found a quest yet where there was not voice acting.
I was once a brave adventurer until I took an arrow to the knee.
Yeah. Thousands of quests. Hundreds of thousands.
They probably just keep adding on dialogue whenever they release another expansion pack.
Yeah, maybe you should keep trying out on that website of yours. You might get a part.
Oh, yeah. I sincerely doubt that. The Buford, the Casting Call Club is just community projects. Nothing on there's very, very little projects on there actually advertised.
Well,
any paid roles.
I just don't know I don't know how they could afford to pay all those voice actors. And I have rarely seen them two voice actors voicing the same part.
That's also there's something to be said of that as well, because they're really going for the realism in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they could just as easily have 3 or 4 stock actors that they use for their extras.
Yeah, I was kind of figuring that there would be like 1 or 2, maybe a half a dozen voice actors in this thing, and then that would be it. Unless they're really good at changing their voices, they're all over the place. And I think the the voice actor who did the Prophet in the main quest might actually be Gandalf the Grey. Because he sounds a lot like him.
Are you talking about Sir Ian McKellen?
Yeah.
I would have to look that up.
I may be wrong.
That would be pretty awesome if he voiced a character. What the heck was that?
That was my computer, sorry.
Oh, okay, that's all right. I was going to say Elijah Wood he's also done some video games too. Well, he did one called Broken Age. It was an adventure game that was done by Double Fine, by one of my favorite game developers, Tim Schafer. It was him, Jack Black, Will Wheaton, a bunch of other people that also lent their voices to this game. It was pretty interesting, and actually told it from two separate individual standpoints. So you can actually switch characters back and forth between the world that one of them exists and where the other one existed.
Oh, I am completely wrong. Who did he play? He looks really familiar. Oh, no. He played Dumbledore. That's Michael Gambon.
Okay. Yeah, the Dumbledore in the majority of the movies, not the...
I knew the voice was a celebrity, but I just couldn't figure out who the voice was. Yeah, it was Dumbledore.
Okay. Dumbledore.
Prophet.
Snape. Severus Snape.
The second Dumbledore, not the one who's dead.
Well, right. That was Richard Harris.
Yeah.
You know what was actually kind of ironic about Richard Harris? Whenever the news stories ran around the time that he died.
What's that?
That he, much like Alec Guinness, he resented the fame that he received from being cast as Dumbledore because he didn't want his legacy of being an actor to be known just about the one role that he had, just because of how the popularity of the movie series and the books that came before it. And the same thing happened with Alec Guinness. He, aside from the interviews that he did whenever he was still alive and still had roles in the, episodes 4, 5, and 6, he didn't do any cons. He didn't answer any fan mail. He really didn't want to talk about the roles much at all in interviews past those movies up until when he died, because of the same statement. He didn't want to be remembered just as Obi-Wan Kenobi, that he had been a veteran actor for several years before he even accepted that role. So I just felt that it was kind of funny that they both had similar sentiments when they were still alive.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything that Richard Harris was in before he was cast as Dumbledore, though. I haven't really checked into it. I think he was more prominent in the UK than he was here. Anyway, let's see. Oh,
Richard Harris was in... I don't know if there's anything... Oh. Well, he was in a couple of things.
What do you see?
He was in the Caesar TV series, Count of Monte Cristo, The Pearl, My Kingdom, The Apocalypse, Gladiator.
Oh, he was in Gladiator?
Richard Crowe.
Okay. Yeah, that must have been also one of his final roles, because Gladiator came out in 2000, I think, or 99, one of those years.
Russell Crowe, yeah. I said Richard, that's not right. All right. Yeah, he was in that movie.
Okay.
And lots of movies before that.
Oh, I bet.
Lots of TV shows. He's had a really long history, actually. He could have been a Bond villain. He's got the English accent.
Yeah. Speaking of Bonds, I heard
Gulliver's Travel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was Lemuel Gulliver.
Speaking of Bonds, I heard that Daniel Craig's not doing any more Bond movies, that they're going to go with somebody. They're going to cycle out the actor that plays him for the next movies. Or
I thought they hired a chick to do it this time.
Really?
Kind of what I remember.
What would her name be? Jane Bond?
Or maybe it was a black guy. I'm not really sure.
Was it Idris
something-
Elba?
It was something controversial that shouldn't have really been controversial, from what I remember.
Okay, let me see because
It
yeah.
will be.
That's interesting. There's actually a rumor that Halle Berry was going to be in one of the there was going to be a Bond spin-off from her character from Tomorrow Never Dies, which I didn't really care for that movie. I remember her being in it. Okay. Yeah, I guess I haven't picked one because I see all kinds of stories
Yeah,
and
it says
like
right here.
Ralph Fiennes wants to be in.
Yeah, it says right here. Last start in time-honored spy film fashion with a red herring. Lashana Lynch is the next 007. This has been confirmed. In fact, she takes over the role for Daniel Craig in the new Bond film, No Time to Die. So job done. We can all go home.
Lashana Lynch. Okay. That was okay. I'm seeing.
Then it goes on to say that that's not true. Okay.
Okay.
I just kind of left it because I didn't know. There's all kinds of rumors. I got Lashana Lynch, Cillian Murphy, the Scarecrow from Batman.
Yeah. Cillian Murphy would be a good one.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy would be too. I could picture him as more of a villain though, but maybe because I've seen him mostly as villain roles in the movies he's been in.
Norton or Robert Pattinson. Those are another ones. Sam Hugan. You want a parody James Bond? You could throw what's the kid from the new Spider-Man?
Tom Holland.
I'm Bond, James Bond.
I remember seeing a James Bond parody movie from the 90s called Spy Hard. And yeah, it had Leslie Nielsen in it and a Weird Al sung the theme song to it. It was forgettable, but it was pretty funny. Andy Griffith was also the villain. He had robotic arms.
Andy Griffith makes a funny villain.
Yeah, he does.
That Rustler's Rhapsody we were watching. Gee whiz.
All right, so with Sushi not here, there's really no one to ask questions for Stump the Road Tuner, so we'll skip out on that this week, and also no conspiracies other than somebody's controlling the weather, which is why we're stranded here in our homes now. Yep. That's such a bullshit.
Forcing us to quarantine for a week.
I mean, shit. People have already been quarantining for almost a year now, and then this just impedes that even more. All right, so until then, I think we'll call an end to this debacle and enjoy the snow before it turns to ice. All right, and until then, if you have anything you'd like for us to discuss, you can always send an email to robotuner2020@gmail.com. Again, that's robotuner2020@gmail.com. You can also call and leave a voicemail at 682-325-1379. Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at The RoboTuner, and we are live most Sundays, if not every Sunday, between the hours of 6 p.m. or starting at between the hours of 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., depending on what we feel like and what time zone that you're in. But those times are central. All right. Until then, we're out of here. Hopefully, the next time we record will be much warmer. Red pants.
Good job.
Okay. Yeah, we went for 52 minutes. I was hoping we would be good just to make 30 to 40.
I knew we'd be all right.
Yeah.
It's better with Shelly, but
yeah,
she provides some meat and potatoes.
Yes, she does, as we all do.
I'm gonna jump off here and finish dinner, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Night, Kenneth. Night, Alex.
Night, Matt.
Night, Matt.
See you.